Well, it's even hard with our professors, right? Oh, good to see you, brother. I mean elder, I mean Professor McCary, or McAfee. But, as you can tell, I'm human. Thank you. It was really hard to be a human, Didn't really do much, just appeared, but it was hard. And it's hard every day to be human, but as humans, we have mistakes, right? We have addictions. I have a lot of addictions. I'm pretty sure all of you have addictions, right? Social media, Fortnite, rice. I'll talk about the rice later. But for me, it was food. It has always been food. And not just food, but stealing food. But let me give you some of my origin story. So I was born, and immediately I showed signs of addictive behavior. It all started with my mom's milk. I could just never let go. All night, all day. I was crying for it. I would spend countless hours just staying awake, crying and begging for it. It was bad. Eventually, my parents told me I had to grow out of it. I wasn't very happy about that, so I switched to the next best thing, which is chocolate milk. But, but like I said, it wasn't just food, it was the addiction to stealing food. Now that's where the thrill came in, right? How many of us have ever stolen food before? From our parents, from our siblings, from our roommates? Come on, I'm an RA, and I get complaints all the time that roommates steal each other's food, so I'm pretty sure we've all done that. I've done it, but last semester I dated a girl from Taiwan, and that was a really great experience. But I told her that my nickname as a child was Nene, and because my brother Alex couldn't say Nathan correctly. But when I told her this, she just started laughing. And I was like, oh, why are you laughing? She's like, because in Chinese, that means breast milk. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that suits me, breast milk. So if you want to call me breast milk, be like, hey, what's up, breast milk? But seriously, I love to steal food. Oh my gosh, that's just a thrill. You know how some people like fast motorcycles? Like Elder McAfee, he loves his fast motorcycles. That gives him his thrill. For me, it's stealing food. Gosh. But my favorite thrill was stealing my dad's last donut. Always stealing the last donut. Sure, at the end of the day, the donut wasn't the only one that had a hole punched through it. Don't worry, that's not child abuse, that's just called love in my household. But, as a child, you discover lying, right? Isn't lying the greatest thing ever? It's like the golden ticket. And I love it when little kids lie because even if they get caught red-handed, they still lie. Like once I put my hands in the bag full of chips and eating it, and my mom told me the chips are for a party. Do not eat the chips, Nathan. If you eat the chips, I would be extremely disappointed with you. Of course, I eat the chips, and she catches me red-handed. And she says, what did I tell you? Nothing. What are you doing? Nothing. But you see, as a little kid, you think if you just tell them something, they'll automatically believe it. But my parents aren't that stupid. But how many of us have siblings here? Great. Have you ever blamed your siblings for something that you did? Right? Okay, raise your hand if you had siblings. How many siblings did you have? 2 brothers. 2? Man, you're not as lucky as me. How many siblings do you have?
5.
Woo! You know how I feel. Having 5 brothers is super easy to put blame on others, right? If there's 2 of you, it's a lot harder, right? And since you're the only girl in the family, it's kind of hard. But with brothers, oh man, that is the life. But, as little kids, lying is just a normal thing that we do. It's like we don't even know how we lie. We just automatically wake up one day and we start lying, which is pretty impressive. It's kind of a miracle. Actually, the Bible says you shouldn't lie, right? It's one of the 10 Commandments. But, we are guilty until we turn 8 years old, so as little kids, it's okay to lie, right? No, I'm just kidding. I follow the commandments, all of them, most of them. But, usually guilt comes into play, and I feel guilt. It rests on my soul. I feel really bad. And so every time I would steal that donut, my dad knew it was me. Every time I stole the donut and I lied about it, blaming one of my 5 brothers, I would go up to him and be like, Dad, I'm sorry, I stole the donut. And you'd be like, no, son, I wasn't mad because you stole the donut. I was mad because you lied about stealing the donut. And then in my head, I was like, no, you were pretty ticked off. But he always said that. He tried to make me feel like lying was worse than stealing, when in reality, they're both part of the Ten Commandments. So shouldn't it be a double whammy? I don't know. But usually, I'm not a liar. I tell people, I'm not a liar. I just like to exaggerate falsehoods. Anything that's fake, I like to exaggerate them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But, you know, I kind of stopped lying about 3 years ago. That was when I started to go on my mission. And I kind of asked my mom, I was like, Mom, I haven't lied in like 3 years. What the deal? And she's like, it probably started when you started to buy your own groceries. And then I realized, oh yeah, I don't want to steal anyone else's food, because then my companion would always steal my food, and I was pretty ticked off. So I learned my lesson eventually. But, you know, addictions affect other people, right? How many of you hear stories all the time about like, yes, I was a heavy drinker. My entire family left me. I am jobless. Everyone hates me. My life is horrible. And it has affected all those that I loved. Right? We all know those stories. It's super sad. But my addiction affected a ton of people. Gosh, it affected my mom when I stole her candy. It affected my dad when I stole his donut. Especially, the worst part was I would affect my entire immediate family at our family parties. I was that kid that would go up behind everybody else in the party and steal the cake and run off with it. I would hide under the table and just scarf my face down, like I haven't eaten food in like 3 weeks. Of course, he would catch me. Eventually, they learned, because then they bought 2 cakes, one for me and one for the rest of the 50 people. But the first couple times, it was really good because my family started losing weight because they didn't eat as much cake. I gained a lot of weight though, as you can tell. But you know, with addictions, we hit rock bottom sometimes, right? When you're tired, when you're hungry, it just comes out. And for me, it wasn't, you know, McDonald's, it wasn't something else, it wasn't something disgusting. It was cat food. I would eat cat food. I know that sounds really disgusting and weird, but hear me out, okay? When I would go to my grandma's house, it would be extended amounts of time. And she kept all of her food on the top shelf. Me as a little kid, I couldn't reach it, right? And so I'd always sneak outside and steal her cat food and eat it. And I kind of became like the king of the felines. Like I started having all the cats around me. Then I found out I was highly allergic, so I had to ditch that. But my mom would actually call my grandma and be like, hey, we're coming over, you need to lock up the cat food. Now, I'm super embarrassed to admit that. But you know, I'm human, so I'm just going to admit that. I'm obviously not a cat, but human's the next best thing. But, you know, and then when you get really desperate with your addiction, you try to get a job with it, right? If you're addicted to smoking, you try to do billboards of smoking or commercials or whatever. For me, it was competitive eating. That was my way of saying, it's okay to eat food. It's okay to get fat because I'm doing it for sports. Now, of course, my dad's a sportman and he doesn't say it's a sport, but, oh, well, I thought it was a sport. Anyways, I never did anything with it, so I just gained 100 pounds for fun. But my brothers and friends would love to tease me about that. One time I went on a double date with this girl I really liked. She was super cute. And we went to this restaurant and I ordered a Philly cheesesteak. And then my friends mentioned, hey Nathan, aren't you a competitive eater? And I was like, yeah, no, shut up. I'm on a date with a girl I like. Okay. Hey Nathan, I bet you can't eat that Philly cheesesteak sandwich in one bite. And you know, my ego, because I'm a human, and my sense of fulfilling that addiction was like, no, I can do it, but I'm not going to because I don't want to ruin my date. And then my date turns to me and says, it's already ruined. So out of pity and out of sadness, I scarfed that Philly cheesesteak as fast as I could. Wasn't happy, but later she became my girlfriend, so I don't know what happened. Maybe it did impress her, but you know, like I said, I'm not the only one with addictions here. I'm pretty sure we all have addictions of some kind. And for most of us, it's rice, right? How many of us are addicted to rice?
Yes!
Thank you. Come on, I know not just the white people should be raising their hands. Thank you, Joshua. Islanders, Asians, Africans, it doesn't matter where you're from, we all like rice, especially white rice, right? Now, can I just say, I love Islanders and Asians. I think they're super great. And I love especially Filipinos. Filipinos are amazing. In fact, my uncle's Filipino. He married into the family. And every time I tell people, hey, my uncle's Filipino, they're like, no way, does that mean you're like 25% Filipino? I'm like, no, I'm not as fun as a Filipino. I'm not as energetic and lively. But no, it's super cool having a Filipino uncle. But this man is addicted to rice. It's crazy. He doesn't live too far from us, so he'd always come over for dinner. And we would always have, you know, like one night we'd do Mexican, one night we'd do Italian, one night we'd do Asian. It doesn't matter what the occasion was, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, he would always bring white rice. Not brown rice, not couscous, not quinoa, white rice. And you know, it's like, okay, we're having Italian. Why did you bring white rice? Of course, when we had Asian food, we didn't even ask him. He just brought 4 or 5 buckets of rice. But, you know, even for Mexican night, he brought rice. But the wrong kind of rice. He brought white rice. He should have brought Mexican rice. If you don't know what Mexican rice is, it's way better than white rice. Just, but, you know, as some white people that grow up in the States, we don't really know about other cultures, right? Especially we're kind of like, oh, okay, I don't know what to do, what to give them for the Christmas. Do they even celebrate Christmas? Like, even though they don't go to church. So we're always kind of like confused about what to give or what to do for those of other cultures. Now, it was the same for my uncle's wedding. My side of the family was like, okay, our aunt is marrying this Filipino. What do we give them for a wedding present? And so you know what we bought them? Each of us brought them rice cookers. For their wedding, they had 13 rice cookers. They still have 7 in their closet today, and that's been 25 years ago. But, you know, also, at their wedding, they had a massive pig on the table with an apple in their mouth. Boy, you should have seen those white kids. They were terrified. They didn't know what was going on. Of course, all the little Filipino kids were having a great time, like, oh, look, it's normal, pig on the table. But like for the white kids, me especially, I was freaking out. I was like, that pig should not be on the table. But I just, you know, I just love Asian culture. And I remember as a kid, I would go to McDonald's, and you know they had cheap little toys, right? That are made in China for like 5 cents. And then they take them to McDonald's. Or at the dollar store, they have all those products made in China. And as a kid, when I couldn't read, I was fascinated with the idea that something could have been made in China. From the other side of the world, I was fascinated. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Every time we went to McDonald's, I'd get my toy, like, Mom, what does it say? She says, it says China. No way! I would freak out because I just loved the idea that this came all the way from across the world. And like, if it said Taiwan, or Indonesia, or Mexico, I'd be like, that's low class. But no offense, I actually like Taiwan and Indonesia. It was just back then. Now I appreciate different cultures. So if you got offended by that, I truly apologize. But honestly, I have a crazy family, you know? Like, if you have 5 brothers, then you can understand, right? But some of my Polynesian friends, they have huge families. That's really impressive. I can't imagine how crazy that gets. But in my family, you know, some of the best days were my parents' Friday date nights. How many of you growing up, your parents had Friday date nights? Okay, did your house turn into party? Yeah, party, yeah. Or did it turn into pure chaos? My family was pure chaos. My parents aren't stupid though. They were like, look, it's a Friday night. I know you want to relax because school's over. But you have to clean your room, do the dishes, and do your chores. Of course, us being geniusly little kids said, okay, Mom and Dad are going to be gone for 2 hours, right? Movie and dinner, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. We watch a movie or TV for an hour, and then we clean for the rest of the hour, right? Watch TV first, because that's top priority, and then we clean. But actually, every night it turned into an hour and 45 minutes of television, then only 15 minutes to clean. Of course, you could see us grumbling around, trying to wipe down everything, clean everything, and then they come home and half the house is still messy. And we're fighting, we're arguing. It was just chaos. However, my parents got smart. In the middle of their date, they would call us and be like, look, there's an emergency, we're coming home early. So we would freak out, we would clean, we would spend everything. Like, they wouldn't come, so we kept on cleaning. We made sure the house was spotless, right? But then they didn't return home for another 2 hours. And we were ticked off. And you bet, when they came home, the roles switched. Mom, Dad, you should have been home 2 hours ago, right? But, you know, they were smart because the house would get clean, and so they're pretty smart about that. But you know, it's pretty crazy how I don't have any sisters. It's amazing. Like, you speak to like one of my friends, yeah, I have 10 sisters and 10 brothers. And I'm like, well, that's really cool. But then I tell them I only have 5 brothers, and they freak out. They think that's even crazier. I don't even know why. Maybe because I have no sisters, just 5 brothers. But so my mom always thought I was going to be a girl when she was pregnant. She picked out her name. She's like, I can feel it. This one's going to be a girl. Her name's going to be Olivia. If not, then I'll just have 5 more tries. And so luckily I turned into a boy. I don't know what I would do if I turned into a girl. But obviously I know my name would be Olivia, and that's pretty much it. But, you know, we had a Jack and Jill bathroom, right? Do you guys know what a Jack and Jill bathroom is? It's a bathroom that is connected by 2 rooms, right? So 2 rooms share 1 bathroom. So if you're in hallway 2, they have Jack and Jill bathrooms, if you understand. So I would live in 1 room, and my brothers would live in the other room. And that Jack and Jill bathroom became the demilitarized zone, right? You know, like between North and South Korea, if you cross it, you automatically get shot. It's kind of like that. You know, if you had to go wash your hands or go to take a shower or go to the toilet, it was like preparing for war. We just got pillows around us with duct tape and get on, like put on our boots and everything. And we'd have to make sure that no one was in the other room. You know, it's not that far of a distance, but you gotta be careful. Then you sprint in, and then you better prepare for the worst. You didn't know what was gonna come flying at you. Once I had a pillow, once I had toys, once I had a water gun. Not the water, just the gun. And so, but you know, that was like one of the scariest things growing up. So now I'm terrified of Jack and Jill bathrooms. I get PTSD over that. But also, you know, growing up with 5 brothers, you guys get pretty hectic. And we had this rule in our house: no social media until you were in high school. Of course, so me and my 2 brothers were in high school. No, my 3 brothers were in high school. And we're sitting down, viewing our Instagram. And we realized my brother Caleb, who happens to be 12 at the time, not in high school, had an Instagram. Oh, we were pretty mad, right? He would steal my dad's phone, get on Instagram, and do all this stuff. So we got pretty mad, and then we devised a plan. We decided to scare Caleb. We made this fake Instagram, and we titled it Little J. He wasn't little, it was this big guy, right? This big, scary-looking criminal guy. That was his Facebook thing. And then he would stalk Caleb. And he's like, boy, I know you saw what I did. I'm coming after you. So he was terrified, right? And it exploded even more. It started with, I know what you did too. I know where you live to. I know where you sleep to. I'm in your bed. And so we had this thing, we would post pictures and we would message him, and he was freaking out. He didn't know what to do. He at least peed himself twice in the span of 2 days. Poor kid, I love him. But we would post things and he would freak out and he would come to me. He saw me as his savior, as his protector. He was like, Nathan, let's call the cops. And so of course what I did, I pulled out my phone. It's 911, right? So I need to push as many buttons as possible. Operator. Yeah, my brother, he's being stalked by this crazy man. Is there anything we can do? Is he dead yet? No. Then there's nothing we can do. Thank you. And so I told him, Caleb, we can't do anything. You're not dead yet. So the police can't help you. And so he was terrified, right? It was a living hell for him. But then that night, he just kept on crying and crying and crying. And he asked my brothers to sleep in his room, in their room. So he's sleeping on the couch in their room. And so I had this idea to wear all black in the middle of the night with a baseball bat. And I walk into the room in the middle of the night, and he's sleeping there, and I touch him and I go, boom, 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 boom. And he's just like, Nathan, I know it's you. And I was like, what the heck? And he was like, Derek told me, one of my other brothers. And I turned to Derek, I'm like, you little crap. Why'd you tell him? And he's like, because he was crying all night and I couldn't sleep. So I felt bad. Of course, afterwards, I wasn't allowed to use social media for a year. But it was totally weird. But honestly, living with 5 brothers, I found this out. I'm not a mathematician or anything like that. I hate math. But I realized 5 brothers equals destruction. No matter what setting you're in, it equals destruction. Things would just catch on fire. One time our car caught on fire and exploded. One time my trash can, and one time the chair in my room. Now, that's a funny story. So I also realized turtle, heat lamp, chair doesn't make equals chair on fire. So during a party, my mom loves to throw parties. We had a party for Relief Society. You know, she loves her sisters. She loves talking about, oh, my boys are the greatest. You're great. Your kids are great too, but mine are better because they do sports, they do music, they do theater. They're just great kids. And all the other women are like, yeah, sure. But you know, that's how Relief Society people, women are. But I can say that because my mom's Relief Society president and she knows I love her. But anyway, so she'd have this party and she'd always try to say, oh, look at what my kids did. We're still great kids. However, one time during the party, my brother wanted to see the turtle, so he lifted up the heat lamp, which keeps the turtle warm, and put it on the chair, and the chair caught on fire. And so, in the middle of the party, we had to pick up the chair that's on fire and carry it through the party. And we took it to the backyard, and then we had to extinguish it. Of course, all 50 ladies that were there thought it was amazing. And then every time my mom would be like, yeah, my kids are so great, they'd turn to each other, remember the chair on fire. So, you know, it was really hard because a lot of the moms there had daughters I was attracted to, and like I'd be like, hey girls, and like, are you gonna catch anything else on fire? So, you know, it spreads pretty quickly. But after the turtle, we decided to get another pet, right? Since turtles equal fire, no more turtles. I told my mom, okay, I got an ultimatum for you. We either get a tarantula, a scorpion, or a snake. Of course, she chose the lesser of the 3 evils and she went with the snake. Now, my grandma didn't think the snake was bad. She thought it was pure evil. She actually called it Lucifer. And she wouldn't come to her house for 3 months. She said, I ain't going there. The devil himself is in your house. You better bless your house again and kick that thing out. But, you know, maybe she was right, because that snake had disappearing abilities. He would just disappear. And it was scary, because we would have friends come over and like, oh, you have a snake. Can I see the snake? Oh, where's the snake? And we're like, that's a good question. Of course, after a while, the snake would come up, ran places. One time while we're doing dishes, it would come out of the sink, you know, like, or sometimes we'd have people come over and they would spend the night and shower. And the snake would just come out to the shower like, hey, how you doing? Looking good. And so, yeah, the snake would just come up to random places. We lost the snake about a year ago, and we still haven't found it. So we placed a sign on the front of a door that says, beware of lost snake. If seen, please run. But, you know, in a family with lots of boys, you guys are pretty aggressive. We gotta get aggressive because now you have all these hormones and testosterone and they need to be taken out, right? That's why guys love to punch each other and do sports that are super physical, like rugby or netball. I don't know if netball's physical or not. Anyways, so we played taekwondo, we would do wrestling, we would do anything to get our emotions out, right? And so I did water polo. Who knows what water polo is? Yes, thank you. Water polo is an amazing sport. It's also extremely, how do I say it, harmful to your body. And so, you know, I was known for hurting people in the pool. I looked like a nice guy, I looked like a teddy bear. My girlfriend says I hug like a teddy bear. But in reality, I'm a pretty mean guy. But I just, you know, I had to work myself down, how to become a Christ-like. But one time, we're doing water polo, and my brother's on the opposite team. We're practicing, and he keeps on touching my foot, right? And I said, "Stop touching my foot." And he's like, "No." And so I said, "Touch it again, I'll kick your face." He says, "I'd like to see you try." And so, of course, I kick him in the face, right? But guess what happens? I break my foot. Gosh, that sucked. And so, later on, I'm walking around with the boots, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, what happened to your foot? Is your foot okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I kicked my brother in the face." "How's your brother's face?" He's still handsome, he's making out with that girl right there, so he's obviously still good looking. You know, don't even care about my foot, because I have a tooth in my foot. But honestly, I don't know how my parents did it. They're amazing, you know, 6 boys, and they're impressive. So I would just like to give a shout out to all the parents out there. If you're a parent, raise your hand so we can clap for you. If you're half a parent like Eli, you get a snap. Okay. But just real quick about my mom. She's amazing. And she told me, so she's very tall. She's 5'11", I think. I don't know how tall she is. But she's pretty tall. And she was a girl in high school that wouldn't get asked out for dates, right? Super sad. But now she's married, so I don't know how that happened. But, I mean, I know how that happened. I heard the story. She always told me I never got asked out. Well, what happened with you right now? So she always told me, she's like, "Nathan, you're going to be a tall guy. You're 6'1". You have to marry and date tall girls." And I was like, "That's kind of unfair. You can't tell me how to live my life." And of course, she said that because tall girls don't get asked out. Only the short girls do. And it's awkward to see someone super tall with someone super short. And so I told my mom, "Yeah, I do that." And then she's like, "One more thing. She has to be an orphan. She can't have a mom. Because when you're married, I want to be your mom and no one else." And I was like, "Well, if you want me to commit marriage, I can do it for you, but I'm just kidding. I would never commit marriage. That is horrible, right? But if you do have a mom that's on the verge of dying, let me know." So my parents are pretty awesome. I love them very much. And they really encouraged me to go on a mission. And I went on a mission to Ukraine. Who knows where Ukraine is? Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. Everyone thinks it's such a tiny little place, but it's actually the largest country in all of Europe, besides Russia. So I went to Ukraine, and obviously I had to learn Russian, right? Russian's a horrible language, because it's so hard for us English speakers. I don't know how Russian people deal with it. They wake up and they speak Russian. I don't know how they do that. But for me, it took me a very long time. And you know, my mission, it proved to me that people are the same everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're from Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, the Philippines, America. I don't know, Americans are kind of weird. But if you're from any place in the world, you're human, right? Especially doctors. Doctors are always the same, especially when it comes to their handwriting, right? Doctors are horrible at handwriting. And I figured this out because I had a lot of doctor's appointments on the mission. I chopped my leg 2 times with an axe on the same day. I split my finger open on a glass of bottle. I fell 7 feet and almost broke my back. So I was always at the doctor's office, right? But one time, I had to go pick up medicine for an elderly couple in my ward because I was the branch first counselor. So my job was to pick up medicine and take it to these people. And so I get this note, and I get a phone call from my branch president. He's like, "Brother VanBuskirk, this man is really in trouble. He needs your help. He is very sick. Who knows, this could be his last day. You really need to get his medicine to him." And so me, being like Mr. Cool Elder, very hardworking, like, okay, we're gonna save this man's life. So we run over to the Ateka, which is drugstore, and we head there, and it's right in front of the church, right? Right in front of the church. So they see us all the time. They see us missionaries walking by, walking forth. And I walk in there, and I have this note. I can't read it. First, it's in Russian, and second, it's in really bad handwriting. Yeah, it's really bad handwriting. And so I take the note, I slam it down on the counter. Me and my companion are like, "Look, our friend's in trouble. He needs this now. Do not wait. He needs this now. We'll give you all the money we have, but we need this now. And this lady looks at him and is like, well, are you sure he needs it now? Yeah, he needs it now. And so she finally gives it to us, and then we walk out of the store, and we're curious about what it was. And when we opened the bag, it was Viagra. Thank you, that's all I have time for today.